Welcome back. A massive recall of sleep apnea machines is causing a worldwide shortage that won't be solved anytime soon.
This is a huge problem for people dependent on the device. We have the medical director for Tier Memorial Hermann Sleep Medicine Center and UT Health Houston joining us live to tell us more about it. Good morning to you. Can you first of all tell us who is impacted by this recall and then why it's dragging on so long, even lasting until next year?
Good morning. This machine is affecting all patients worldwide who purchased CPAP machines from a certain manufacturer who made these machines. In fact, owned a large market share of this particular product. These are called CPAP, or continuous positive airway pressure machines. And they are used for patients who have a very common condition called sleep apnea, which is a condition where patients stop breathing in their sleep multiple times at night, the most common of which is obstructive sleep apnea. It is affecting about 5 million machines worldwide, of which more than half are within the US.
Wow. Okay, so untreated sleep apnea can cause people to stop breathing hundreds of times per night. So this is really dangerous. What are some options for people who can't get a machine right now?
So the company first came out with this recall notice in June 2021. And, their first directive was to talk to your provider. At that point, providers didn't have very many resources because we were still just learning things too. And, while everything is not crystal clear at this point, the professional societies have come up with certain guidelines to help patients depending on the severity of their sleep apnea and coexisting medical conditions. For example, patients with mild sleep apnea who may not have many other coexisting medical conditions may be eligible for non-CPAP options, which are not exactly as effective, but certainly can help ameliorate the condition. Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, there are patients who depend on sleep apnea machines, for example, BiPAP machines, to actually stay alive through the night. For these patients, the options are much more limited. In that case, in some cases, for example, we have advised patients to continue to use their current machines until they get a repair or a replacement. And again, more importantly, they have to register on the website for the company to be eligible for a repair or replacement of their own machine. So it really depends on the condition of the patient.
It often takes a long time for somebody to realize and then go through all the testing to figure out that they have sleep apnea. What are the warning signs of that?
Well, technically, patients who have been prescribed CPAP or BiPAP, have gone through the diagnostic process. Typically, the process involves either a home sleep study or a sleep study in a lab, depending on the clinical suspicion that is noted by the clinician at the first visit. Usual symptoms include snoring, waking up gasping, a bed partner telling them, look, you're stopping to breathe at night, waking up with a headache or a dry mouth, daytime drowsiness. Now, these are the most common symptoms of obstructive apnea. There are certain other less common apneas that may have somewhat similar symptoms, but less florid.
So how is it diagnosed if someone suspects they may have sleep apnea? What kind of process do they go through?
Well, the first mechanism is to first talk to your provider, and you may talk either to a primary care provider or a sleep medicine specialist and describe your complaints. They may get asked a few more questions. For example, what are your other coexisting medical conditions? Do you have high blood pressure, anxiety and depression? Do you have any cognitive problems? These are some of the common coexisting symptoms or medical conditions that accompany sleep apnea. Usually a sleep study is ordered next based on the index of clinical suspicion. It may either be a home sleep test, that is something that's performed at home, or it may be performed in a sleep lab under video guidance, usually with the help of a technician. And then that test is interpreted and the results are sent back to the patient, after which they're given their options for treatment.
Okay, well, it is valuable information, and we know that it can be life-changing and saving information for people to take sleep apnea seriously.
Absolutely.
Thanks for taking time today from Tier Memorial Hermann and UT Health. Nice to talk to you.
Thank you for having me.